Hello everyone and welcome to EGX Digital 2020. I'm Eurogamer's Ian Higton and it's my great pleasure to have been asked to host the Hitman 20th anniversary in conversation with Agent 47 actor David Bateson. Joining me, of course, because it would be weird if he wasn't with a title like that, it's David Bateson himself. Hello David, how are you doing today?
I'm very well, Ian. And thanks for having me on your show, on your interview.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. How's Copenhagen treating you nowadays at the moment with, with all that's going on? I was thinking that maybe, it's kind of maybe like a cheat mode for Agent 47 at the moment with, there's not many people around, everyone's social distancing, so not many witnesses, and everyone's wearing a mask.
Yeah, every kill is a freebie, really.
Yeah,
I'm in permanent disguise with a mask on. I thought we were going to do this interview with a mask on. I forgot it.
I don't have mine near me, but it's okay. We are quite far apart, thankfully.
But it's still quite hard to find your victims because they're all off the street still.
That's true. Yeah, and I guess with everyone wearing a mask, you
can't recognise who you hit. I just hit everyone. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, bit messy, but get the job done in the end, right? So, with the upcoming release of Hitman 3 in January, you're celebrating 20 years of voicing Agent 47. This is basically, it's an extraordinary achievement, and I'm struggling to think of many other actors who've stayed voicing a character for such a long period of time, save for perhaps maybe Charles Martinet and Mario.
He's always going to beat me, that bloody Mario actor.
He is.
But, what about the Uncharted guys? No, they haven't been doing it for that long.
They've been. Nolan North he's been voice acting for a long time, but
forever, yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of just playing one singular character, I don't think there definitely hasn't been 6-7 games for Uncharted, and definitely not 20 years. So basically. First off, how much of an impact has Agent 47 had on your life, considering he's been such a constant presence for such a long amount of time?
I mean, it's going to sound creepy, but I mean, I'm really thankful to IO Interactive for this amazing role, and for such a long time. Whether it's film or theater acting or doing TV. It's only like if you're doing a TV role, something like Coronation Street or something, where you get a chance to be attached to the same character for such a long period of time. So this is, for me, totally unique to be involved in being good mates with Agent 47. By the way, I'm very glad I'm good mates with Agent 47. But, for such a long time, because I really feel like I know him. He's a mate.
Yeah, well, I guess, considering the first game was 20 years ago and Agent 47 was a new character then to you, you've basically grown alongside him. Parts of your personality have bled into the way his character acts, and maybe even vice versa, perhaps without the murder, but...
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's several parts to this. It dawned on me the other day that both the writers and myself have grown up in the last 2 decades. It's just mind-boggling. With this character, Agent 47, he is not the same. He has grown and adapted, and it's one of those chicken egg things. Have the writers been influenced by me as a voice actor in my personality? Can they hear the way I would say some lines and go, oh, I'll write that line because I could hear David saying, I need to use the bathroom, or is it me saying the lines in a certain way because of my upbringing and what Agent 47 reminds me of about my own life, about my own personality.
The writers,
so it is both segments.
Yeah, well, the writers and the creators of 47, are they the same people you worked with 20 years ago? Have they changed a bit, or
No, they weren't born born back then. No. No. This is the short answer. But the latest crowd have been there for a long time. I've no idea how long, but a long time. I mean, now they're all like getting married and having children and had children, and there's some water under the bridge now. But then they're not the original crowd. I'm probably gonna have a contract put on me for this, but no. I think it was a different crowd under Jonas Flosser from way back when.
I've been doing a little bit of research on you, David. Getting some intel as a good hitman would, and it turns out you've had quite a diverse acting career with around like 41 credits in your filmography. I presume they've not all been playing hitmen though. Can you tell us a little bit about your acting career?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, there's quite a lot of the stuff I've done in film which my own children, I wouldn't want to show them.
Oh
because,
really?
Yeah, it's nothing. Let me rephrase that. Okay. All the porn I've done, that's fine. You can keep that in if you like. No, I tend to play villains.
Right.
On screen, I just look like some kind of Neanderthal going. So it's always like just bits and bobs, but there's loads of bits and bobs. I keep doing stuff, and I'm grateful for it. But as a role that I've been consistent to, it's Agent 47 in a computer game franchise, which is, world renowned and respected and admired, and I'm also very proud to be a part of. So I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Definitely. Now, on the subject of films, have you ever watched the film adaptations of the Hitman franchise? And if you have, what did you think of them?
Well, I got myself into a bit of trouble here. I came to London to present a Golden Joystick Award at the Golden Joysticks Award for Best Sniper Challenge Award for Hitman.
Yeah.
And what's his name? That's a fantastic Irish stand-up comedian.
Oh, Dara Green? Would it?
No, he's great as well. He's always there for the BAFTA games.
Yes, that's right.
Is it Ed Byrne?
Ed Byrne, I think, probably. Yeah.
I think his hair was long. He's got long brown hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's brilliant. So is Dara. But as I came onto the stage, his first remark was, "So, what do you think of Timothy Oliphant?" And I went, "He's crap." Well, those couple of words have haunted me for about years, because I was just giving him a payoff to a line. I didn't mean it. Timothy Oliphant is a fine actor.
Yeah.
But in that was the first Hitman, and he was the first Hitman, the film. But he was just, it wasn't his fault, but when you removed his hair, he had a very young face. But when you removed his hair, when he shaved himself, he looked about 12.
He did, yes, you're right.
He's gonna give me that gun, it might go off in your hand. Come on. So that was, and there was a huge move to have got me into that film for many reasons. The one, they were shooting it in South Africa. I've come from South Africa. My neighbor and I share the same agent, and he was playing the villain, Ulrich Thompson.
Oh wow!
A no-brainer, yeah. And I was 47. I mean,
So
the dots.
Were you approached by the studios to try out, maybe do an audition, or?
We contacted, it was 20th Century at the time, and they got Timothy Oliphant probably because he was there. He was doing the Deadwood series for 20th Century, and it was a no-brainer. Why not? As I say, he is a fine actor. So the point is, I was being kind of blanked out by 20th Century, and I understand how Hollywood works. I was an unknown quantity to them, and there's a lot of money, being on a film. But tragically, when Paul Walker died, they were reconsidering the role, and at that point they'd been using a lot of there'd been a lot of pre-publicity for about good 6 to 9 months, really flogging it on all media, saying, he's a legend. No one knows what he looks like. All these kind of big trailer things. And I'm going, well, now's your chance. Because, instead of going, oh, it's Tom Cruise. I don't know him. He's playing a man that we've never seen before. Or it's Matt Damon, And that's fantastic if you're doing Mission Impossible or, the Matt Damon's franchise. But so then the film became a European film. And Luc Besson took over as producer. And that was the first time I was actually, to be honest, interested in the film, because I just didn't see Hollywood doing justice to it. I think it was going to be one big car chase and bazookas in the streets of downtown LA.
That's not very Hitman, is it, really?
He's called a silent assassin, you dick. So, seriously. So, and then I heard from his office that Luc Besson's office in Paris, that they were interested. Again, now it's becoming a European film. I knew the film was probably going to be more in keeping with IO Interactive's vision of. So, but then, the bottom line came when my agent even wrote to them, 20th Century Fox, because they're still paying the bills, and said, "Listen, I mean, we'll fly over. Just give him 15 minutes." And after naming all these things that were sort of like no-brainers to give me a crack at it, aren't you even curious? And they went, "No." Oh. So c'est la guerre.
Considering 47 is so, tied into so much of a part of your personality and your life, how did it feel watching someone else portray him? Was it sad to you, or was it nice to see that the character was branching out? The first film was a bit disappointing on quite a few levels. I mean, the first time French director that Luc Besson chose, he directed music videos, and I'm sure there are many directors out there who direct all sorts of things before they get their break. So I'm not knocking that as such, but some of the sort of shooting sequences just looked like music videos without the music. They were just too beautifully put together, and you're going, no, it didn't need to be all sort of super slow motion and bullet time, Nah, it was, I tell you who did. So it was a frustrating experience watching the first film. The second film, strange enough, was much better because it had a bloody good actor playing the part, who was so not looking like me or looking like Agent 47, but shit, what a lovely actor. And so you just thought, he could kill you. He could kill you in a blink. Just run. Fair enough.
There's something nearly sharp on that. Just run, because this is not going to end well.
Fair enough.
And I like that. It had a raw, edgy stuff to it.
More in keeping with the feel.
Yeah.
So going back in time now, how did you first land the role as 47 in 2000's Hitman Codename 47? What led you to that first starting point in your career as a hitman?
I'd love to say it was something, really fateful and wonderful, sitting on a plane next to Sean Connery, or whatever. No, I just, there's the expression serendipity, or word, serendipity. And it's a tiny backstory to this. I still got somewhere a telegram sent to me. That shows you how long ago that was. Oh God. By the National Theatre Company in South Africa, which said, "Congratulations, we'd like to hire you as a permanent member of our company," blah, blah, blah. When I was graduating from university, and they went around the country auditioning for actors. And I kept that thinking, okay, that was the day. This was the moment I became an actor. And, but no, it wasn't. The serendipity moment was the year previously. as I was walking away from an audition for this National Theatre Company, where I was going to be just doing the anonymous part of and partner for our department's star actress who was auditioning for the company. She'd got nerves and was throwing up, and it was all cancelled. So I was literally walking away. I thought, right, I'll go down to the beach, I'll go surfing. And this lecturer stopped me. And he went, where are you going? I went, well, it's all off because, Judy's ill. And he said, listen, David, you're 20 years old. You don't know this, but I'm telling you now, this is a moment in your life, which is a very important moment. And he was talking a bit slow because, I'm only 20, no brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that now. He persuaded me to go back. I had 2.5 hours. He said, go and listen, go through some of your old audition pieces. You've got 2.5 hours. It'll all come back to you. Go and re-rehearse them in a room, look at a mirror, take your notes that were given to you as positive criticism, use those, redirect yourself, and just go in and give them both barrels. Anyway, I did. The short answer is I was accepted by the National Theatre, and I turned them down to do one more year, my fourth honors year at university. And they went, ballsy, we'll be back. Following year, that's when they offered me again a contract. So the point being about this, it's that it took me about really over 30 years for me to suddenly have this moment where I'm going, shit, if that man had not stopped me, I wouldn't have stayed on, and I wouldn't have got accepted, and ultimately also turned them down. But my whole identity and future as an actor would not have led me from South Africa back to Britain, and would have not led me to an audition for the English-speaking Theatre of Copenhagen, which in turn would have not led me to having a voiceover, career starting off in Denmark, which would not have led me to being in a sound studio when someone comes in and taps me on the shoulder and says, hey, when you're finished doing this corporate voiceover, next door in an editing suite, we're editing a new computer game called Hitman. And we'd like to, ask you if you'd give it a crack. So, you can see those moments you have in your life, which you're not aware of at the time.
Yeah, that one moment you could have been a pro surfer.
Yeah, I could have been a pro surfer. Don't say it. I wanted to be a pro surfer. No. The decisions you make, what are they influenced by? And it's quite intriguing. So just purely by being in a foreign country, doing a voiceover in English, and someone comes in from the next room and says, hey, would you like to have a massive career as the voice of Agent 47? Let me think about that for a moment. Yes.
So they literally, there was no contact with them beforehand. They were just next door to you.
They were just 5 guys who started this sort of garage company, doing developing this computer game, whilst working at Nordisk Film, and I think, hand on heart, I think one of their goals, because they didn't know, they didn't know what it was going to turn out like, and I knew that they wanted this to be a success, so that they could raise capital to produce other games.
I mean, your experience of that first recording in that tiny room, I'm guessing, must be very different to the experience of recording the voiceover lines for Hitman 3. It must be,
massive. I mean, night and day. Good point. Yeah. One of the biggest things about that was I'm looking at some graphics of a scene from the first game, which the scene was set in Hong Kong. And it was all very kind of shadowy and black and white, and very monochrome in its look. And I was thinking of Japanese cartoon films, that kind of tradition. And I just thought of, it looks like a Philip Marlowe film.
Right.
Something from the 50s, And I was looking at these kind of one-liners, these almost non sequitur sentences that they were asking me to read. And here's a tip for any voice actor: whatever you're going to do, commit to it. Right. Don't you can't please everyone. So if you're either auditioning for something, or as I was, or if you're going to play a line and you've got the job already, just go 100% with your instinct and the knowledge you have about that character, but don't do it half-hearted. Okay. And so I just launched straight into full-blown Philip Marlowe. I walked into a door. The door said, "Oops." It was just flat, monosyllabic, and I just laid my card on the table and said, "It's something like that." And so that's okay. That's what we're going.
That's your first, the first ever recording. You walked through the door, and that's what they showed you. Some other video game. That's where you got your inspiration from. Just some glimpses. Yeah, I mean,
that's with no one in the room. That's just me auditioning, just kind of going, I think it should sound like this. And then obviously there was feedback, but they went, actually, this is the silent assassin. This he's a test tube made assassin. He doesn't know, he doesn't have feelings. He's literally a killing machine. And the monosyllabic sentences suited that flat, Philip Marlowe kind of tone.
They really do.
From recording the first game in 3 hours, every line in 3 hours. And now we take 5-6 months.
Jeez.
So, we've come a long way. And now there's infinitely more detail and sort of subtlety, and it's just you can't even describe it. With the breadth of the sandbox being so vast, so so all encompassing. You have to have millions of lines for going down one way and millions of lines for going down another way, and then. Only in Hitman 2, they did something else. They said, "Okay, David, here's your script." And I went, "What the fuck? Who wrote all these words?" Someone just fell asleep on the computer. I said, "This isn't Hitman. He's got verbal diarrhea." And they went, "No, these are all these kind of when he's in disguise one-liners." And they were just all these kind of superficial kind of things, like, more ice, sir? Would you like a dry martini? Would you like a banana? But just really weird stuff. And they went, "Why?" And I went, "Why are you doing this? Because this seems out of character." And they said, the way the game is developed and the depth of the game and the choices you can make, we now believe that the player sophistication needs to be addressed in the sense that they need to feel genuinely, really kind of like we're in this together. They're playing me, is walking around there, and I'm dressed as a waiter or a truck driver or whatever, a guard, or because I'm in disguise, and to help the player feel more committed to, we're in this together, they put all these extra lines in. And I really was very against it. And when I played it and saw it in action, they were right. They were 100% right. So that's one aspect of how dialogue and playing Agent 47 has evolved due to the advancement of technology and the sophistication of the player, that, you can make the player feel more involved with this guy called Agent 47 if, as they fooling people in disguise, they're saying all these kind of stuff, all these, as they go, "Hey, how you doing?" And it just feels more acting, more real. And then boom comes VR, last week. Now you can be me. These are my hands, and this is you strangling someone. Which is next step stuff.
I know. I'm very, very excited to try out the VR version of the game.
Yeah.
Have you had a go yet? Are you?
No, but it's funny. I'm glad you asked. I am going down to IO Interactive next week. I am going to stalk them. Let me in. They'll be, oh, it's him again. Everyone hide. I'm going down there to play VR.
It's actually going to be some crazy Christopher Nolan kind of stuff, because you're going to be in VR, playing yourself in VR. It's a Bateson within a Bateson.
There's a photo opportunity there somewhere. Yes. I hope they go with it. But I'm going down there because I'm going to kick the bloody door in and give me those VRs and just leave me alone, because I'm here now. I'm working. But it's going to be weird because I'm going to be inside myself.
Yeah.
And I don't know. If someone takes a photograph, then that's going to look so weird.
It is going to look weird, but it's going to be cool. And exploring all those varied locations in VR. I mean, the locations, the art team at IO do such an incredible job anyway. But to be able to witness that first person is, it's going to be so cool, I reckon.
Well, I want to go around and actually not kill anyone. I just want to go and
just listen,
take a walk. I just want to walk around, Sapienza and check out the cafe.
Sit on the beach. Go to the ice cream store. Yeah,
I'll go down to the beach and have an ice cream.
Yeah, Hawke's Bay and watch the waves. Yeah. Oh no, I can't wait.
Rent a rowing boat. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what my mind is just racing ahead with what can be done here.
Yeah, just turn it into a holiday simulator.
I'm not going to kill it.
No more murders. Just a nice. Just put my feet up.
Yeah, I'm going to take a fight. There's no rush. You'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'll kill him.
So, back on the subject of dry line delivery and also dressing up as different characters. Things like that. One of the things I really like about the game, one of the things I think that resonates so much with fans, especially in the more recent games, is even though there's a murderous tone that goes through the whole game, there is this dry sense of humor, and the one-liners and stuff that a lot of the time, they raise a big laugh from me, and the wacky kills and things. This dark sense of humor, is that Did you help mold that? Is that the writers, or are you allowed to, put your own puns and one-liners in?
Guilty. Is the short answer. Hey, listen, I'm not underestimating the extraordinary talent our writers have, because I've seen that grow and nurture, and I'm going, what the hell are you guys on? When you sit in a room going, right, where's he going to go from here? It's just like, well, I didn't see this coming. But no, so I give all credit first and foremost to the writers. But I know for a fact that they've been influenced by me in my humor. Because I really mean this. I would never, ever want to do a Roger Moore on James Bond.
Right.
If you know what I mean. It was Sean Connery. I'm going to kill you, you bastard. And then Roger was lovely. But that whole lightweight approach to being, a killer for MI6, basically, it lost the plot. And I don't want that ever to happen with Agent 47. So the humor has to be extremely dry, extremely dark, and well hidden.
Yes.
But if you play the game, and if you played it for a while, it'll be easier to see the tongue in the cheek, and on moments. And I like that. And I think, probably looking back, if you can say that, one of the legacy of this, from my point of view, is I hope I've really created a personality out of Agent 47, and that I hope that very dark, black sense of humor, even in the most horrible situations, has added to this character rather than kind of subtracted from it,
Mm.
because I really wouldn't. I'd hate it if people thought, "Oh, that's that Agent 47. He's such a stand-up comedian kind of guy." I'm going, "No, he's not. He's a bloody killer."
What do you think then, in terms of 47's personality, of his moral code as a contract killer? He's often tasked with, taking out some very bad people. Do you think he's capable of remorse, though, or is that not part of his character? It's a job for him, or
Yeah, I think that's where the creation of the test tube killer, as opposed to us being born of loving parents. He's not capable of remorse. I think there are moments where I genuinely try to put in a slight curiosity for what someone is feeling. There were some scenes in Absolution where I'm about to basically kill someone and take him out to the desert and kill him. And he's begging for mercy and stuff like that. And I managed to kind of get some stuff in there, which was, he doesn't know what this is, but he could stop long enough to kind of look at it and almost, be objective about it and going, what are those things? Oh, they're tears. What's that? I wonder what that feels like. Oh, well, So those, I think that would be, I'm intrigued by trying to give him that. Just kind of searching for humanity in himself. But I don't want to make him sentimental.
No. I think, but having a little glimpse of humanity in such a dark character, I think adds a little bit of intrigue. Maybe a bit like a Vulcan who's, what is this human emotion?
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm Dr. Spock.
Yeah, Dr. Spock with a knife.
Yes, exactly. I could kill them just by going.
Yeah. There you go. That's an idea for the next one.
Oh, good one.
Go to a comic convention, dress up Hitman, dress up Agent 47 as Spock, and then when you're doing voiceovers in the past, when it was the first time of doing voiceovers in that little room. It was obviously just you in front of a microphone. Recently, I went to IO Studios and I toured their motion capture booth, and I got to play with some of their fake guns and things. Do you do much stuff in the motion capture booth? Do you get mo-capped up? Do you wear the suits with the little balls on? Or
no, don't get me started. No, I don't.
You don't?
Never bloody mo-cap. I'm so gutted. And I know. Actually, I don't even know if he's still doing it now, but for many, many years, it was a good mate of mine who is a Danish stuntman called Bo Thomas, who played me.
Yeah.
And once in 20 years, I was at a voiceover conference in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow.
And because I was wanted to see how they were doing, how the voiceover industry was in the States and whatever. And I got a call from IO and they said, "Listen, Dave, could you swing by London on your way back from Atlanta, to do some motion capture work?" And I went, "Done. I'm doing it. Thank you. And then I was all excited and ready to do that. And then they called back, the bastards, and said, "Stand down. You don't need to go. They've got the stuntmen to do it." So the short story is, I've never bloody mo-capped myself. I've performance captured a lot, and my face, and
for cutscenes and things.
Well, I'm talking Danish now. For the cutscenes, and I can see it quite clearly now. But the expressions on my face, on my eyes, on my mouth, and because they're really seriously pixeled and very detailed. I can see, okay, that's shit, that is me. But in-game stuff, that you need it.
Now, how closely do you get to work with the other voice actors in the game, specifically Jane Perry, who plays Diana Burnwood? Do you ever get in a room, maybe table reads with her, or is it all remote?
No, this is what we were supposed to have met at EGX this September.
Right.
I understand. There was a plan afoot to get us both there.
Mm.
That's what I heard anyway. No, I have never. The only person I've ever met, Sean Bean.
Oh, you were.
Yeah, no, I met him, but we didn't work together.
Right.
But we were taken down to Paris Games nearly 2 years ago now. Yeah, and that was that was wild. But there was a very experienced, I'm a huge fan of Sean Bean, and he's done all those interviews. He can handle all that kind of press junket stuff. But I think he was a bit overwhelmed by that kind of fanatical enthusiasm that gamers have. And when you turn up at a computer game conference and also the French. And I remember just before we were going on stage at the PlayStation stand, we're backstage and he's on the steps. There's like 3 steps up to this 1 meter high platform. And outside are about 5,000 crazy Frenchmen. As a French comedian or journalist or whatever is whipping them into a frenzy and, throwing out hats and going, that was you, le should be. And just before we were going to go on stage, he was at the top of the steps. He went, hang on second thoughts. And he gets back down and said, you go first. I went, why? I said, they're going to bloody tear us apart. It was just that moment because we're only 3 feet away from them, 3 feet height away from them. And there's no, net or fencing. They're just going to rip us up.
Also, though, you wouldn't really want Agent 47 walking behind you, especially for Sean Bean, and you've already got previous.
Plastic bag. So, but no, I've not. And it's not a source of irritation. It's just a disappointment, really. The other actors, well, in later years at least, are recorded in London, and I'm over here in a box by myself, together with a couple of writers or some creative people, both in Copenhagen and also over Skype from London. But I'm all alone, so no, I have not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe next year we can get you and Jane together at EGX.
Yeah.
Instead.
Well, I'll do so. I hope so. But the point is, I'm alone in my studio, 3 to 5 hours a day, mumbling into a microphone with no one in the world to talk to. So you get a bit potty, really.
Yeah, a bit of cabin fever. But I guess you didn't get cabin fever back in 2015 when you did actually come to an EGX in Birmingham.
That was insane.
Like how did it feel mingling with your audience, the people who know you as Agent 47 the best? Connecting with the fans, how was that?
I will never forget that experience. It was deeply humbling. In a wonderful way. We had our own, obviously, booth, which was actually like a closed cinema, and we did some stuff which was interesting. I was allowed to kind of freestyle my own thoughts as I was doing a hit. So they were showing some scenes where I just got to kind of saying, just to say what came out of his head, not funnily, just in character and serious. And then we were allowed to do 47 minutes with Agent 47, which was pretty amazing how they pulled that one off, because that big stage in the middle with 500 people, you're only allowed to have 25 minutes, I believe. So IO and Square Enix or whoever pulled it off said, listen, we want 47 minutes with Agent 47. And that was an amazing experience. But on many levels. I remember two things: the walk from backstage to that stage in the middle of that, the NEC room, which is huge. They had all these bodyguards, all the people from Iron Track. They all put on these T-shirts, and they're going, "What are you doing, guys? It's just me." Well, said, "No. You haven't been to one of these things before." I went, "No, we'll be fine." No, we're not going to be fine. We'll never get there. And I said, "Why? We're just over there. It's about 100 meters." And he said, "No, we're going to have to really fight through the crowd because you're going to be recognized." And I was, and they did. And we did fight. And I went, bloody hell, I feel like a Spice Girl. But the other extremely moving thing that happened there, that really blew me away. We'd arranged on the Thursday or the Friday of the week, the 4 days there, Friday, I think it was. They said, "Listen, we want you to do some meet and greets with your fans." I went, "Great. We've put a time 4 to 4:30. outside that cinema booth we had, huge, with a massive poster. And I went, great, I'm getting my suit, getting to character. And I got a wad of posters and a pen. And then they went, okay, cool. And then we got dinner this evening at this 5-star hotel with all the big shots from Square Enix and so on. And so it started at 4:00, and I saw the crowd and went, bloody hell. And they weren't too deep. They were like 10 wide. And it went back about 100 meters. And I went, and then I couldn't see beyond that. It was just the crowds of the... Anyway, it stayed at that length until 7:45 in the evening.
Wow.
At 5:45, the security came to us and said, listen, here are the keys. You lock up. Luckily, our booth was in the corner. So they could, block off, rope off the rest of the place. But they said, listen, this is insane. We can't disperse that crowd. They will not be happy after they've waited now for hours. And so just keep going. And that was insane that we 4:00 till just before 8:00 we finished, and my hand was like this going.
Yeah, well, fair play to you for showing such respect to your fans that you stay past your allotted time, and
I was amazed by that. I was blown away. I mean, every one of them got the equal attention and the poster and whatever they wanted signing and a photograph and so on.
I see at EGX a few Hitman cosplayers wandering around occasionally. At EGX, did you meet any cosplayers?
Yeah, I did. I did actually. I met Baldwin. What's his name? Baldwin Barcode.
Oh yes,
he's great fun. I can't remember his name.
I think he's assassinated me at an EGX before, actually.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
So finally, I guess, what is your favourite hit from the entire series? Do you have a favourite hit, like a favourite moment?
Yeah, I do. It is probably. There's a couple. They tend to be big and theatrical. There's a hit literally in a theater that I liked. No, the one I really, my most kind of recent favorite hit, because there's so many. I've been a bad boy. Is the Paris fashion scene?
Yes. Where
the chandeliers get dropped on my target, and I just thought, yeah.
Do you know what?
That was just messy. It wasn't nothing to do with the silent assassin, but it was an accident.
David, thank you so much for talking with me today and sharing your journey with all of us here at EGX Digital. I'm sure every other Hit fan out there will be waiting with bated breath to see how 47's adventures unfold in Hitman 3 this coming January. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
My complete pleasure. Thank you, Ian.
Oh, one last thing. How's this? I need to go to the bathroom. How's that?
It sounded a bit like you've had a lot of testosterone, or you've just drunk about a bottle of vodka.
I smoked a packet of cigars. Yeah.
At least,
But yeah, I need to use the bathroom.
I never
thought that sentence would ever do something. Never in a million years. That would be on my gravestone. He needed to use the bathroom. You gotta go when you gotta go.
You gotta go when you gotta go. Fair play. Well, thanks again, David. It's been an absolute pleasure. Cool.
All right, man. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.